In the NHL world, big trade tonight. We had originally planned to record a segment that was involving trade rumors.
Yeah.
But
Funny
as
enough,
as
yeah.
I was building the trade rumors with one of the guys in this trade, big trade. I'm literally watching hockey as it goes on, and I texted Connor this three-way trade, which you don't see too many of.
No, you really don't. No.
This one's big. Ready? Mikko Rantanen, who I think has 68 points right now in 40 games.
He's been really
68
good this season. Yeah.
Mikko Rantanen and Taylor Hall to the Canes.
That's crazy.
So, mind blown all of a sudden.
Absolutely.
We'll get into the details, but I just want to continue to talk about what the trade is. Going to the Avalanche, Marty Necas, Jack Drury, a second and a fourth. So they get Necas, who was at the beginning of the season scoring like crazy. I think he was first in the league in like points
Probably.
at one point.
He's currently, not anymore because he left, but he was leading the team in goals or points. Either one.
So they get a piece back, and the third team involved in this is the Blackhawks, and they retain 50% of Mikko Rantanen, and get a third in the process, but also lose Taylor Hall. Let's dive into this with, I guess, initial reactions, and then let's go piece by piece and see what team won, right? So my initial reaction to this is, holy shit, this Hurricanes team is instantly okay, they're probably my second favorite for the Cup.
I have them as my favorite.
But I'm not surprised that you have them as the first, because they're getting one of the best players in the league. I'd be willing to say that he's a top 10 player in the league.
Yeah.
He probably is. He is, right? So they get a top 10 player in the league. This doesn't usually happen too often. Way before the trade deadline. And they add Taylor Hall, which is an amazing depth piece in my
Absolutely,
opinion.
it is. Former league MVP.
So, I mean, what do you got to say about that? What's your initial reaction?
I think the Canes are easily the Cup favorites now after this. This was an incredible move for them. This three-way trade. You didn't give up. I wouldn't say you gave up the world necessarily to get Rantanen. You gave up some good pieces. Nietzsche, you said, has been good. He's starting off the year strong. He's leading the team in goals. But man, it's Mikko Rantanen. He's been absolutely incredible. Excuse me, but he's been incredible. And again, like you said, Taylor Hall is a good depth piece for this team as well. That's going to need it, going into the playoffs to make a really good run. I think the Canes win this. I think the Avs get some good value back, and
definitely, yeah.
I think they still get some good value back. So I can't necessarily say that they got screwed. The Blackhawks, however, I can understand maybe why they did this. They're kind of in a rebuilding young mode now. They've got Connor Bedard to look forward to in the future, but getting rid of Taylor Hall, who it was a healthy scratch at points throughout the season. He's not getting any younger, and I think you just kind of need to dump his salary. So you dump him back to the Canes. You get your third round pick back that you traded to the Canes. Which is going to be a good third-round pick because, you're a bad team. And they take 50% of Rantanen's salary, which, again, was probably made to make this facilitate the trade.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And to be honest, they took half of Rantanen's contract, so what was it, like 9.25? So you divide that, so like 4.56, something like that. Like, I don't know. I can't necessarily hate on that. I don't think the Blackhawks gain too much.
No, they don't get fleeced. They
just gained their third round pick back and they move on with their day. They dump Taylor Hall and call it a day too. So that's fine. You're still going to be bad. You're not doing anything to really help necessarily improve your team. But
right. To me, I think
you're not getting any worse by doing that.
No, you're not. Yeah. To me, this trade makes a lot of sense in a bunch of reasons. Right. So I'll start off with the Hawks. Them retaining salary, right? And as I'm looking at how much of a cap hit they have right now, they're only $3 million under the cap, which is, I thought they were a lot lower. I thought they were closer to the cap floor.
Yeah.
And that's why they were doing this. But actually, the more you look into it, they know they're not going to compete this year. They get rid of one of their pieces and still get some valuable draft pick back in a third.
Yeah.
I couldn't see him getting any more than that. So you got him at the right time, right? You got that pick back. You taking Cap to me is just more like, yep, we're not at the deadline. We're gonna be a seller.
Yep.
So we want to offload as much money as possible and still be over the cap floor.
Yep.
So you're basically saying you're a seller. We knew this.
Yep.
But it's like now an official writing.
Yep.
Then you move on to the Avalanche, who lose Rantanen, and all week there's been battles and disputes between Rantanen not want to re-sign. The agent and Rantanen cannot agree on like a contract price. And obviously the team not going to be able to give them $14 million because they have to pay Cale Makar and they have to pay Nathan McKinnon.
Yeah.
And who knows about Landeskog, who hasn't played in 2 years, if he'll be back.
Right.
They have so much. They have a wealth in players, but they don't have a wealth in money, unfortunately, in the NHL. So I understand why you're offloading him. Maybe this was the best they could have got back, because they got Nachos, who you were saying is the top goal scorer for the Canes. So you got their best piece, technically, in goal scoring, if you want to call it that.
Right.
But you got a really good piece back for a cheaper price, who will probably be on your team for years. And now the uncertainty of Rantanen being on the team is not there. So you kind of have this stability still.
Right.
And you get a young piece in Jack Drury, who is the center. So you get a depth piece. And he's young, so, you can develop him more. And you get a second and a fourth, so it makes a lot of sense for the Avs. But for the Canes, if this is a rental, which I don't know, right?
Could be,
you
could
can't
not
know.
be. Yeah.
I don't even know if they have the cap space. We'll see in the offseason if they re-sign him. But if you're in win now mode, it makes a whole lot of sense for the Canes now too. And you get Taylor Hall. Everything makes sense in this trade. I like it a lot. You know what I mean? I can see, we're kind of beating a dead horse here, like you just said, but I can see the Canes going really, really far now that they have Rantanen. I think they were missing that piece for years, and now they finally have it. I think they're really showing their hands. If it was a poker game right now, they're showing everything, and they're saying, we're winning this year.
Right.
Because I think the East is kind of open right now. I think there's no clear favorite. Before I would have said the Caps, and maybe I still do kind of say the Caps, but the Canes are right there now.
Yeah, they're right there. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean,
they're gonna be a fun team to watch the rest of the season, and again going into the playoffs. So.
Yeah, I mean, this trade is crazy though. I'm still blown.
I know you texted me. I was like, "Yo, what?" I didn't believe it.
It's Mikko Rantanen.
I know that was a crazy trade.
6 points.
Yeah, we were again, like you were saying, you were just trying to build up, different trade predictions and stuff like that, and it was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah, I had a few. I'll pull it up real quick.
I want to know what you were thinking.
I didn't come up with these trades. I found them on Twitter. So I think this might actually tell you the extent of what people thought he was going to get back.
Okay.
One of them said, this dude's, his name is Ian Clark. He says, Mikko Rantanen for a 2026 first from Calgary, a 2025 second, Blake Coleman, Jacob Peltier, and someone with the last name Muse. So if you just look at it like this, the most valuable piece here is a first.
Yeah.
A first good. 2026,
right?
And there's no star player, so
right.
Compare that to the trade that you're looking at right now.
A lot better value.
A lot better value, and I can understand why it's way before the trade deadline. The other one, another guy said to the Canucks would be Rantanen and also Casey Middlestat, who was a third line center. Back to Colorado is Elias Pettersson.
Yeah.
Which actually does make a lot of sense because there's trade rumors for him, as well as like a 2025 first, Pius Suter and Nils Hoglander. A lot of depth there and a star. That trade also makes a lot of sense to me. You don't get to react to it now,
but
you know what? We got to react to
I'm
this.
cool reacting with it, a real trade.
A real trade.
Something that's going on in the league. So definitely, trades biggest trade so far in
a while.
In a while, yeah. I was going to say in a while that I can think of. So.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, do you have any last-minute thoughts on that? We'll move on to our last section.
I think the Canes I think they're the cup favorites right now.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
I think they're absolutely the cup favorites, so we'll see how the rest of the season goes with them.
We will see.